Hey Natasha, what are you doing? How are you? Are you on spring break or something? I saw a picture of you at the beach. Spring break maybe? Or something else? Yeah, where are you? It looked like a really cool beach. Oh, I would love that. I would love if you'd visit me soon. Morning, Amanda. Are you all caught up to stay with us today, Amanda? Oh, you're just in LA? Oh, well then yeah, come on over. I thought maybe you were somewhere special. Oh, you're like around the corner from here. That's so cool. You should come visit anytime. Come visit any time. I'd love to have you any day. Oh, empty. All right. So baby girl passed out today for her nap. Hey, Isabella, like it was her job. She fell asleep so fast. She must still be tired from days of not sleeping because she was just like out. Like it usually takes at least 10-15 minutes to put her to sleep. 3 maybe. I mean, done for. Just like setting up a switch that I bought off my sister's champagne plate. Yes, let's go. And because it's Saturday and the baby isn't with me, I get to have her cream because the sound won't wake her up. It's very exciting for me. Very exciting. I love for all of us. She needs sleep. I need sleep. The whole world needs sleep. Sleep is necessary. Hey, Jillian, how are you? So, I did the bulletin box some really cute patterns to do needlework, but like, I've only had kits before, and the kits came with the colors, so now I have to go and buy the colors. It's hard to like go through the list of like a bajillion colors and go get them. I'm like, do I just buy a thing that has like one of each of the colors in it? Like, would it be overkill if I did that is my question. Like, those of you who do needlecraft, do you buy each individual color each time you do a project? Or like, obviously if there's some left over, you use it. Or do you just buy like a huge thing with all the colors and just go to town on it? That's my question, I guess. Hello to everyone. Since there's a lot of people here right now, there's like 50 of you. Raise your hand if you do any needlecraft. I need advice. This is serious. Like, do you do needlecraft, and how do you decide what to buy? You know, that's what I need to know from you all. Hot. Okay, there's 100 people in here. Some one of you 100 people have to be a needlecraft person who embroiders, who does cross stitch, who does needlepoint. I need to know. There's 100 of you. At least one of you does it. Raise your hand if you do needle stuff. I need to know. Because I need this advice. I don't know why there's so many people here, but I need, if there's gonna be that many people here, I need them to talk. Okay, if the pattern gives specific color to get the specific, no, I know, but like every single time you do a new one, so like I'm gonna get the specific colors that they recommend, obviously, but like my question is, do you just go out and buy them individually each time, or do you buy a huge thing one time that has all the colors in it and just live on that for a while? Yes, Amanda's correct. If anyone in here knows of an indie author working that wants their book to be read, please make suggestions. We want to hear from you. We want to buy your book. Oh, it's those kinds of people. Let's just block those kinds of people. Bye. We don't need that. Yep, see you later. Yes, so you buy them individually every single time and then just use whatever leftovers you have. Is that what you're saying, Jillian? because I can do that too. It just feels expensive to do it that way. Like when I looked up some of them, some of the different colors like are low stock, so they're going for like $9 for one thing of it, whereas like the whole so like I checked and you can get all the colors for $30. So I'm like, should I just get all the colors at once for $30 rather than when hey, Liz, this is a good question for you too. So like I just got a couple of patterns, right? And one pattern, I was looking up all the colors for it, and to get all the colors for it would be like $80. It's fake Nutella, it's like sugar-free Nutella as well. But like if I get a kit that has all the colors in it, it's only $30, you know? So it's hard to say. It's definitely big, but it's good. It's still delicious. Okay. Let's do this. Delightful. I just don't want to overspend money on supplies for no reason, I guess is what I'm saying. And how do you guys like organize your threads and your projects? You know? And then you do that too. Anyone else's kid going crazy over Neatos? Everyone I know is going crazy over Neatos. My kid, actually, she kind of does. I did give her some of the ones that are like baby safe, and yeah, she is. It's absolutely spilling. Oh my God. I'm a mess. There was a bubble after I walked away. I didn't see it. I'm spilling all over the place. I'm excited that we were able to get on early, that she fell asleep early, because we have writing club today for the first time in like 3 weeks. So it'll give me a chance to do that. I checked the Five Below 50-mile radius. Online prices are crazy expensive. I can see if there's a Five Below near here. I'm not sure that there is. I haven't seen one like just driving around, but maybe there is. Okay. Okay. Liz, I need you to talk to me about how you organize your projects. Walmart had the kitties, not sure about the other stuff. Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. I don't know why needles are trending all of a sudden. I've had mine for years. Oh, Neatos, I think. Yeah, they must have just like gotten popular at schools or something. Specifically needlecraft stuff, Liz. Send me pictures. I'll text you later. I need to talk to you. Okay. So let's read. We are, I don't know where we are. We're somewhere. I've seen people organize threads in those tackle boxes. I know, but I want something that's travelable. Slime activities at college is getting popular too. Really? That's funny. I love that they're doing that right as I quit. Yeah, message me an example. You know, well, I've seen the tackle boxes with the little things, but I want something that I can like take in the car and stuff. You know? Cause like, I just do. Yeah. Okay. So we were part of the way through the chapter. Morning, Brittany, and we had to stop because I had to take the baby to a dentist appointment, which by the way was tragic. I mean, it's fine. Her checkup was fine. Oh, really? Okay, Liz, that's fair. That's totally fair. The dentist was lovely. She said everything was perfect with her, but she cried like crazy. So it is what it is. Yeah, she screamed. But anyway, we're on chapter 8, Conference of Kings, and we are halfway through it. So here we go. The last thing we heard from Bristol was using the Book of Sorcery. What is the Book of Sorcery? King Warsworth asked. It's the most powerful spell book that was ever created. According to legend, the book contains a spell that can render someone powerless. If your theory is correct, and Xanthos is the source of fire, we can use the book to strip him of all magical ability. And if my theory is correct and Xanthos isn't responsible, we could use the book to defeat whoever is causing the fire. Yeah, I'll text you. Do you have a Daiso store near you? Yes, we do. One of my kids left the van door open, it rained. Oh, I'd be making them clean it. At their age, I'd be making them clean it. I would. Yeah. The representatives have never heard of such a book before. They turned to the alchemists and waited for them to confirm its existence. However, the scientists only seemed tickled by Bristol's suggestion that they were trying not to laugh at her. A fairy godmother, I'm afraid the Book of Sorcery is just a legend. Hey, Jen, we just started. We're like half a page in, so you're good to go. Hey, Gigi. Dr. Stage said, in all of my years studying history, I've come across... Oh, Dr. Stage, not Dr. State. Sorry, different voice. Whatever. I've come across many written myths about it, but no evidence to prove that it actually exists. Actually, the Book of Sorcery does exist, Dr. States said. Unlike his colleagues, Dr. States looked anything but amused. The alchemist stared at Bristol with a gravely serious scowl, as if she had just revealed something she wasn't supposed to know about. Sir, are you certain? Dr. Storm asked. Yes, it's as real as the nose on my face, Dr. States said. The confirmation bewildered the other alchemists. Well, why have you never told us before? Dr. Steam asked. Because too many talented alchemists have lost their lives trying to find it, Dr. States said. The book contains the most powerful spells in the world that they've ever known. And yes, the fairy godmother's correct. The Book of Sorcery does hold a spell to render someone powerless. But retrieving this book is impossible. It's a suicide mission for anyone who has ever attempted it. Respectfully, Dr. States, I eat the impossible for breakfast, Bristol said. The comment made the fairies and the witches whistle and snap. The representatives and the alchemists were rather surprised to hear such a bold remark from the fairy godmother. Dr. States seemed intrigued by Bristol's confidence. My dear, are you aware of what retrieving the Book of Sorcery entails? Do you know where it's located and what horrors are waiting inside? Bristol nodded. Yeah, I know it's in the Temple of Knowledge, and I know the temple is guarded by a tribe of unlikely warriors. I also know that once you're inside the temple, there are physical, mental, and emotional challenges that you must pass. And if you make it past the challenges, before you can enter the vault where the Book of Sorcery is located, you have to come face to face with the deadliest and most dangerous creature that has ever walked the earth. The mood of the conference became very tense. The representatives broke out in a nervous murmur. Each one was speculating what the creature might be. That does not seem so bad, the ogre said. What most dangerous creature on earth? A bear? Lion? Wolf? One of the snakes that live in toilets? The alchemists all turned to Dr. Stagg with curiosity. If anyone would know the answer, it would be a zoologist. A dragon, Dr. Stagg said with a gulp. Dragons are the most violent and destructive species to ever live. They've been extinct for thousands of years, and although we have the capability of bringing one back to life, no zoologist in their right mind would ever dream of it. Dragons are capable of catastrophic damage. In fact, the last time the Conference of Kings was held, our ancestors decided to exterminate dragons to save the planet. The whole room shuddered at the thought of such a ferocious creature. And the fairy godmother wants to face a dragon to save her friend? King Elvin asked, and Bristol locked eyes with the fairies and the witches. They all knew they had more than one reason for wanting the Book of Sorcery. It was their only hope to destroy the army of dead, too. Xanthos would do the same for me, Bristol said, but I still don't know how to find the temple. We've been to every corner of the globe and we've never seen anything like it. I was hoping that Dr. Straight might point me in the right direction. The request caught Dr. Straight off guard. I'm sorry, she said. I've never heard of the temple until now, and I've honestly never seen it on any of my maps. Hey, Nikki, we're just about a page and a half in, so you're good to check. Hang. Well, that's because you won't find it on any map, Dr. States said. The temple is located in a concealed place by powerful sorcery. Although I've never seen it myself, I do know how to find it. The fairies and the witch's posture rose with their spirits. Please, Dr. States, you have to tell us, Esmeralda pleaded. We're begging you, Tangerina cried. The alchemist hesitated as he weighed the pros and the cons. Are you sure you want to do this? He asked. Positive, Bristol said. If there's even a chance that the Book of Sorcery can help me save Xanthos' life, I have to find it. Give me a week to travel back to the temple and retrieve the book, and if I'm not back by then, you can carry out the elimination, as planned. Dr. States squinted at Bristol, and he rubbed his chin in consideration. Fine, he said. If you retrieve the Book of Sorcery and strip Mr. Hayfield of his magical abilities, we will spare his life. However, we cannot wait a week and risk the possibility of him starting another fire. We must proceed with the elimination plan as planned, and hope that you find the book before we find him. Is that clear? I'm 2 days behind, I can't say. Oh, okay. All right, we'll see you later, Nikki. Have a good rest of your day. Bristol felt like she had been punched in the stomach. She didn't feel like the pressure of finding the Book of Sorcery could be any greater than it already was. But what choice did she have? Okay, I understand. The Righteous Emperor was growing more uptight by the second. Obviously, the Book of Sorcery was the book that she'd been searching for in the Cherry Hills Library, but that was days before the Iron Hand fires. Regardless of what she told the alchemist, he knew that Bristol had more plans for the book than she was letting on. He could smell her desperation. Oh, this is absurd, Seven proclaimed. We can't trust her with the Book of Sorcery. If she survives the journey, who knows what she'll do with it? We certainly know what you would do with it, Lucy snapped. The Righteous Emperor and the Fat Witch have a point, the Troll Chief said. I trust the Fairy Godmother, but what if the book falls in the wrong hands? No one should have that kind of power. I agree with the Troll Chief, the Goblin Elder said. If Fairy Godmother find Book of Sorcery after she used spell on her friends, the book should be safe somewhere else. We'd be happy to keep it here with us, Dr. States said. Yeah, but how can we trust you? Seven sneered. Wow, it is windy AF out there. That noise you're hearing is the wind against our window. The trees are blowing like crazy. Holy moly. That came out of nowhere. As this institute proves, alchemists can be trusted with many things that the rest of the world isn't ready to handle, Dr. States said. You have my word. The Book of Sorcery will be kept safe and faithfully looked after. Seven fumed, still unsatisfied. But, he continued, there's nothing stopping the Fairy Godmother from using the Book of Sorcery before using the spell on her friend. Well, perhaps we can send someone to supervise the Fairy Godmother, Dr. States suggested, and the Righteous Emperor went quiet as he considered this. The more he thought about it, the more sinister the grin on his face became. Yeah, that's exactly what we should do. Each of us should send a delegate with the Fairy Godmother to make sure she keeps her word. The fairies and the witches all groaned at this proposal. Yeah, why not put a bell around the neck while you're at it, Lucy said. It's not entirely unreasonable, Dr. States said. Fairy Godmother, do you have any objections to being accompanied by delegates? Naturally, Bristol had many objections to traveling with chaperones, but she would do anything to get her hands on the Book of Sorcery, and she would never get there without Dr. States' help. Oh, I lost my hair tie. No, I don't mind at all, she glared at Seven. In fact, I welcome the company. I'm going to need all the help that I can get. Very well, Dr. States said. If they wish, each king may appoint a delegate to travel with the Fairy Godmother to the Temple of Knowledge. And the representatives spoke privately with their guests to determine who should join the mission. Bristol and Lucy pulled the fairies and the witches into a tight huddle. Bristol, are you sure you're up for this? Esmeralda asked. Shouldn't you send one of us to the temple so you can keep looking for the immortal? Of course not, Bristol said. The temple is dangerous and I have less than 2 weeks to live. If I don't return by then you can send someone else in my place. And even if I don't get the Book of Sorcery, hopefully I can make the temple safer for whoever replaces me. In the meantime, the rest of you need to search for Xanthos. We need to track him down and keep him somewhere that the alchemists won't find him. The fairies and the witches nodded. Okay, who's going to be the witches delegate? Tangerina asked. Obviously, I'm the best choice, Stitches said. No, I'm the best choice, Sprout said. Are you two crazy? Lucy asked them. You're both flammable. I'm not sending you into a temple with a fire-breathing dragon. I'll go with her. Hey, Anya. Lucy, no, Bristol said. I can't let you do this. It's too dangerous. And I can't let you face a dragon alone, Lucy said. Besides, it's not your decision to make. The Witch King has spoken. Bristol sighed and shook her head, but she knew there was no arguing with Lucy. Thanks, Lucy, she said. I'm really going to owe you one if we survive this. Lucy smiled. Yeah, I'll add it to your tab. After several minutes of deliberating, all the representatives made their decision.
I trust you all made wise choices, Dr. States said. The Witch King... Which witch...
This is a difficult sentence.
Which witch has the Witch King selected?
I'll be representing the witches, Lucy said.
Very well, Dr. States said. And the King of the North?
The Northern Kingdom will be sending Sir Rain, King White said, and he nodded to the knight standing beside him. 2 years ago, he was instrumental in helping me battle the Snow Queen. If anyone could face the dragon and live to tell the tale, it's him.
And the King of the East?
The Eastern Kingdom will be sending Sir Hammer, Princess Proxima said, and turned to the guard behind her. He's been protecting me and my grandmother for my entire life, and I would trust him with the Book of Sorcery more than anyone else in the world.
King of the West?
The Western Kingdom will be sending Sir Timber, King Wardsworth said, and gestured to the soldier at his side. He's sharp as he is brave and will easily outsmart or outfight whatever the temple has in store.
And the King of the South?
The Righteous Empire nodded, and why do I keep saying empire instead of emperor? The Righteous Emperor nodded to the skeleton guarding him. Him, whoever he is, he said.
King of the Trolls?
The Troll territory will be sending... The Troll Kingdom will be sending Butternut, the Troll Chief said, and slapped the back of the troll next to him. My God. Although small and smelly, Butternut is fiercest and most loyal protector King ever had.
King of the Goblins?
Goblin territory will be sending Gobzella, the Goblin Elder said, and he pointed to his female companion. She's the strongest and loudest warrior goblin ever known. I am confident she will return, even if the others don't. It is an honor to serve, Gobzella yelled, and everyone in the room covered their ears.
Okay, King of the Dwarves?
The Dwarf territory will be sending Spanky the Miner, Mr. Slate said, and patted the shoulder of the dwarf standing next to him. Don't let his height fool you. Spanky is masterful with a pickaxe, and the dragon won't see him coming. Okay, King of the Ogres? All the same to you, I think I set out this mission. I barely fit in carriage to get here anyway.
Fine by me, Dr. States said. And finally, who will the King of the Elves be sending?
The Elf territory will be sending Prince Elrond, King Elvin announced, and then he shot his son a very stern look. Do not disappoint me. Prince Elrond gulped. I won't, Father. The others were surprised that the Elf King had selected his own son, but no one looked more surprised than the prince himself. Hey, Naisa.
Very well, Dr. States said. The delegates will leave for the Temple of Knowledge at once and in the meantime, the alchemist and I will start searching for Mr. Hayfield.
The alchemist tapped the table with his cane like a judge with his gavel.
The Conference of Kings is adjourned, he declared, and Bristol closed her eyes and took a deep breath.
Hang on, Xanthos, she whispered to herself. Help is on the way. Oh, birthday party day. Very exciting. Dun, 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 dun. Someone is a 1-year-old. Do, 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 do. Birthday party. Okay. Now we are moving on. Oh, home from shopping. Well, we're about to start chapter 9. Chapter 9 is called Watch Your Step. Xanthos? Xanthos? Xanthos was hoping it had all been a bad dream. While he slept, he was haunted by the images of burning buildings and the sound of people screaming and the smell of scorched earth. Unfortunately, when Xanthos' eyes fluttered open, the nightmare awoke him. At first, Xanthos didn't know where he was. He was exhausted. His head was throbbing. His whole body ached as if he had run a marathon. He quickly sat up and looked around to get his whereabouts. He had been sleeping on a pile of hay on the top floor of an old windmill. He got to his feet and he glanced out the nearest window. The windmill was in the middle of a field surrounded by a tall forest, and although which forest he could not tell, it was evening and the sun was starting to set in the distance. Xanthos checked his body and he saw that he was still wearing his civilian disguise from the Eastern Kingdom, although it was singed and covered in ash. Strangely, he was also wearing a crystal medal with a red ribbon around his neck. After one glance at the medal, all the memories of the long night and the earlier morning came rushing back. Xanthos, are you there? Xanthos jumped at the sound of the voice. He thought it had been part of a dream, but it was coming from somewhere in the windmill below him. Xanthos cautiously climbed down the ladder and inspected the lower floors. Each level was completely empty except for cobwebs and rusty gears. Xanthos, if you can hear me, give me a sign, the voice whispered. He's definitely not there, another said.
That windmill is as empty as a politician's promise.
Laughed another voice. We should move on. According to the map, it looks like there's a barn about a mile away. Maybe he's in there? No, wait, the first voice insisted. I have a good feeling about this place. That could just be gas, the second voice said. And Xanthos eventually made it to the ground floor. The first level of the windmill housed a small living area, but besides a table and a few chairs, it was just as vacant as the others. However, something strange caught Xanthos' eye. In the corner of the room was a full-length mirror, but instead of seeing his own reflection, he saw the reflection of a friend. Skylene? He asked in shock.
Xanthos, thank God. You're all right, she exclaimed, and she looked over her shoulder. See, I told you I had a good feeling and it wasn't just gas.
And in the mirror, Skylene was joined by the reflections of Mrs. V, Pip, Bibi, and beyond them, Xanthos could see the glass furniture of Bristol's office. He rubbed his aching temples, worried that he might be hallucinating. How am I seeing you guys right now? We're using a magic mirror, Bibi said.
Isn't it neat? Pip said. It allows us to see through the mirror into another world.
But how did you find me? Xanthos asked. We've been following your star on the map of magic all day, but then earlier this afternoon it just disappeared, Skylene said. That's when Mrs. B recommended we use the mirror to find you, so we started peeking at all the cottages and the shops near the spot where you vanished. Xanthos scratched his head. You've been looking into people's homes? Isn't that kind of a violation of privacy? The fairies and the witches looked at one another with guilty eyes. You don't want to know what we've seen today, Bibi said. Mrs. V, have you always had a magic mirror? Xanthos asked. Well, I forgot I had one in storage, Mrs. V said with a shrug. When I was younger, I was madly in love with a traveling tradesman. Unfortunately, he had a reputation for being quite a ladies' man, so I got a magic mirror to spy on him while he was on the road. And what happened? Was he unfaithful? Xanthos asked. Well, I don't know. I had an affair and I forgot all about it. The housekeeper chuckled. But that's a story for another time. I'm so glad to see that you're all right. Mrs. V. Mrs. V, how could you? Also, traveling tradesman. We know him. Xanthos climbed off the ladder and crawled closer to his friend's reflection. But peculiarly, he never let his feet touch the floor. He hopped from chair to chair, stool to stool, and then knelt on top of the desk in front of the mirror.
Why are you climbing across the furniture? Pip asked. Are there mice?
No, I can't let my feet touch the ground. That's when it starts, he explained. That's when what starts? Skylene asked. The fire? Xanthos exclaimed. But it isn't coming from me. Look, I can prove it. He held up a crystal medal around his neck, and Skylene instantly recognized it. Oh, you're wearing your old Mutter medal, she said. Yeah, that's how I know the fire isn't coming from me. I've been wearing the medal since this afternoon, but the fire still appears whenever I make contact with the ground. The fairies and the witches were absolutely baffled. They had so many questions they didn't know what to ask first. Wait, Xanthos, start from the beginning, Skylene said. Em told us what she saw last night, but we need to hear it from you. Xanthos took a deep breath and shook his head, still trying to process it all himself. I was sleeping in my room at the tavern when suddenly I woke up and I found my entire suite was on fire. I tried to put it out with magic, but the flames wouldn't stop. Em and I alerted the rest of the tavern and then got the guests to safety, but by the time we were outside, the fire was spreading everywhere. It even chased us into the street, so we ran. But the fire followed us. We crossed the Eastern River and the flames moved across the surface of the water. Never seen a fire do that before. I didn't know what else to do, so I just kept running. I ran for miles and miles across the countryside, but the fire never slowed, and eventually it caught up with me, and it completely surrounded me, and I climbed the tree to escape it, and as soon as I reached the very top, I looked down and I saw that the fire had disappeared. Holy smokes, Mrs. V said. I mean, no pun intended. I stayed there for 3 hours, Xanthos went on. When I climbed down and put my feet on the ground, the flames returned almost instantly. For whatever reason, when I make physical contact with the ground, the fire reappears. At that point, I was still terrified that I was the one causing it, and I needed to stop my magic until I figured out what was happening, so I traveled to the Northern Kingdom, leaping from stone to stone, from log to log, and went to the mountain where we battled the Snow Queen, and I found the sinkhole where Squidel was buried, and I retrieved the Mutter medal from her skeleton. But even with the Mutter medal around my neck, the fire still comes back whenever my feet touch the ground. Now I'm positive that the fire isn't coming from me. How else could I create it without magic? The fairies and the witches were amazed by Xanthos' story, and they took a moment to gather their thoughts.
So that's when you disappeared from the map of magic. You put your Mutter medal on, and your magic hides your location. But Xanthos, you said you were sleeping when the fire started, Skylene said. Surely your feet weren't on the ground then. No, but my room was in the basement, Xanthos said. Whatever it is, it must have found me when I was underground and it's been following me ever since. But if it isn't coming from you, then what's causing it? Pip asked. Honestly, I have no idea, Xanthos said, but I'm not leaving this windmill until we stop it. We've got to tell Bristol and Lucy, Skylene said. They need to share this with the Conference of Kings before it's too late. Xanthos scrunched his forehead. What's the Conference of Kings? The Conference of Kings is a council of elites, Bibi blurted out. They think you started the fire and they're afraid to destroy the world, and they're deciding your fate as we speak. What? Xanthos yelled in terror. What do you mean they're deciding my fate? Am I in some kind of danger? The fairies and the witches shared anxious glances. Well, I suppose that depends on how the conference goes, Skylene said sheepishly. Hopefully Bristol and Lucy will convince the other representatives that you're innocent and you aren't going to destroy the planet. But if they don't... You'll be hunted down like a sheep in a wolf den, Bibi said. Xanthos hadn't thought the situation could get any worse, but after hearing this, his skin went pale and his whole body went numb. He jumped to his feet and started frantically pacing across the desk, plotting his next move. I just can't believe this is happening to me. They're gonna kill me? I have to go into hiding until I can prove that I'm innocent. Xanthos, let's not get carried away, Skylene. So what if people think you single-handedly caused the biggest disaster in the history of the world? That happens. We know you're innocent, and that's all that matters. Skylene gave him a sweet smile as if their trust solved everything. Xanthos ignored the comment and continued plotting. I'm sorry, girls, but no one can know where I'm headed. Not even you. Xanthos picked up the chair beside the desk and raised it over his head. Wait, Skylene pleaded. Xanthos, don't do this. We can help. But Xanthos slammed the chair into the mirror. The glass shattered, and the fairies and the witches disappeared from sight. Xanthos knew that he had to get as far away from the windmill as possible. It wouldn't be long until his friends came to find him in person. Without time to come up with a better option, Xanthos removed some rusty chairs from the windmill's large gears and tied a stool to each of his feet. And then, with makeshift stilts, he wobbled as he walked and allowed him to walk without touching the ground. Taking one small step at a time, Xanthos headed outside and journeyed into the forest, searching for a place where no one, not even the fire, could find him. Oh, sad. So sad. It is tomorrow. But since I don't sleep anyway, using an hour's like whatever, you know? Okay. Well, they're still asleep, so we should keep going. The next chapter is not that long, actually. We'll probably finish it. Wait. Oh, wait. That's not the end of it. Okay, it's kind of long, but like we can read part of it at least, right? The next chapter is called Chapter 10, Into the Northeast. After the Conference of Kings, the alchemists escorted the representatives to the front of the institute where the bronze carriages and the mechanical birds were waiting to take them home. The guests noticed 2 additional carriages had been added to the landing strip, one to take Bristol and the delegates to the Temple of Knowledge, and the other to take the alchemist to Xanthos, wherever he might be. I was like, yay, more sleep, and then I remembered it's the opposite way. Yeah, we lose an hour. But, again, as far as I'm concerned, it's all the same. Bold of me to say that the night after my daughter slept. Watch her like start sleeping now, but we lose an hour anyway. Very funny. Wouldn't that just be the kicker? Somehow daylight savings is the thing that made her sleep. That's funny. Bristol's stomach was in knots as she watched the alchemists load their carriage with weapons and traps like the likes of which she had never seen before. There were cages with spikes and sharp wires, miniature handles, cannons, swords, and spears that were launched by springs and crossbows with preloaded arrows. They keep voting that they're going to, and then for some reason they don't follow through with it. I don't understand. California has voted to do away with it multiple times, and it's passed every time, and then they just never follow through. Like, what's the damage? We voted. Let's do it. Be done. If Bristol hadn't known better, she would have thought that the alchemists were the ones about to face the dragons. Is all of that necessary? I thought that you said the elimination would be as quick and humane as possible. The weapons are just a precaution for our safety, Dr. State said. One can never be too careful when traveling through the kingdom of man. But I assure you, if we find Mr. Hayfield before you return with the Book of Sorcery, his elimination will be painless. It'll be like, well, drifting off to sleep. Hopefully he won't even see us coming.
Sir, our carriage is ready for departure, Dr. Steam called.
Oh, splendid,
Dr. State said, and then addressed the representatives.
I suppose it's time for us to say our farewells and go our separate ways.
Dangling in our face and never implementing it. I know, that's the thing. Like, how many times do we have to tell you, yes, okay, we approve. Yes, let's go. Let's do it.
Done.
Throughout the landing strip, the delegates said their own unique goodbyes to their superiors. Sir Rain, Sir Hammer, and Sir Timber were bowed and kissed the hands of their sovereigns. Mr. Slate and Spanky saluted with their pickaxes. The Troll Chief and Butternut butted horns like dueling bucks. The Goblin Elder and Gobzella smacked each other's bellies and snorted like pigs. I mean, the thing is, Mary, if it stays the same all the time, it won't really matter which way it goes, right? Because it'll just never change, so it'll all start to feel very normal. Whatever. However, not all the representatives gave their delegates a proper goodbye. King Elvin didn't say a word to Prince Elrond. He only glared at his son with a disapproving scowl as if he had already failed the mission. The righteous emperor didn't even acknowledge his dead soldier. Instead, Seven's eyes remained fixed on Bristol as he watched her with a sinister smirk. He's always up to something, isn't he? Bristol said to her friends. The fairies and the witches were too worried about her to care about the righteous emperor. It's going to be okay, Bristol assured them, although she wasn't really sure she even believed that herself. I know there's a lot to be worried about, but we'll get through this. We always do. Will we? Tangerina asked. Yesterday we were only worried about losing you, and that was hard enough to swallow. I can't imagine what it would be like if we lost you, Lucy, and Xanthos all in the same week. Until now, Bristol hadn't thought about how awful her friends must be feeling. Regardless of what happened in the Temple of Knowledge, Bristol knew that her life was going to end. She'd come to terms with it, but her friends were still taunted by hope, and if Bristol didn't retrieve the Book of Sorcery in time, they would have to endure everything that Bristol wouldn't. She waved the fairies and the witches to the side of the landing strip where the alchemists and the representatives couldn't hear them for one last pep talk. We cannot let fear cloud our focus, she whispered. If there's one thing last year has taught me, it's how complicated life seems when fear takes the reins, and our goal is much simpler than our fears would like us to believe. First, we gotta find Xanthos and keep him safe. Second, we have to get the Book of Sorcery. But that's it. If we accomplish those two things, everything else will be fine. The fairies and the witches nodded, but tears welled in their eyes. Promise us you're coming back, Emeralda said, trying her best not to cry. Promise us this isn't your goodbye. Bristol and Lucy glanced at each other, but it wasn't a promise that they could make. Ah, come on, Lucy laughed it off. You can't get rid of us that easily. I've battled stage mothers who are way scarier than dragons. That's true. Tangerina's bottom lip quivered as tears spilled down her face. You're awful, Lucy, but you are awful, she said. Who am I going to feud with if you die? Tangerina threw her arms around Lucy and sobbed into her shoulder. The fairies and the witches were surprised by this emotional gesture, especially Lucy. Ah, there, Lucy comforted her. You'll find someone else just as terrible as me. No, I won't, Tangerina sniffled. You're simply the worst. Ah, ditto, Lucy said, and the two exchanged a sweet smile, knowing that they each meant it from the heart. We can't promise anything, but you can promise us something, Bristol said. Even if Lucy and I don't come back from the Temple of Knowledge, and even if the alchemists do eliminate Xanthos, promise us that you won't let any amount of grief stop you from achieving our goal. Promise me that you'll find the Book of Sorcery, and you'll use it to destroy the army of the dead. The fairies and the witches looked at one another and gave Bristol a confident nod. Yeah, we promise, Emeralda said. But if you do die, can Sprout and I have your bedrooms? Stitches asked. Sure, Lucy said with an awkward shrug. But don't do anything weird with my bottle cap collection. It's going to be worth something someday. Bristol saw the other delegates were starting to gather around the carriage. Okay, well, this is it. Wish us luck. Bristol and Lucy hugged the fairies and the witches goodbye, and when they arrived at the carriage, the girls could sense that there was already tension among the fellow delegates. Although the fairies were on good terms with the other kingdoms, there was a long, complicated history between the other species. Gobzella, Spanky, Butternut, and Prince Elrond stood in one group, while Sir Rain, Hammer, and Sir Timber stood in another. The men and the talking creatures did not speak to one another, but they were engaged in a heated crossfire of dirty looks. Hi, everyone, Bristol said with a friendly wave. Before we leave, I want to thank you all for coming with me, and I'm really grateful for your help. Sir Rain, Sir Hammer, and Sir Timber scoffed at her. Is something funny? Lucy asked. Please don't act like we're going and doing you a favor, Fairy Godmother, Sir Rain said. We wouldn't be going on this mission unless we were ordered to. And if something dangerous does happen, just let us handle it, okay? Sir Hammer said. We'd like to come back in one piece, and we don't need a group of damsels and beasts getting in our way. Lucy crossed her arms. Hey, who you calling a damsel? She asked. Damsels may be a stretch, but beasts is putting it nicely, Sir Timber chuckled. Check out that goblin. She's built like a bear and has the face of a swine. Swoosh! Before Bristol or Lucy could react to the knight's rudeness, Gobzella suddenly dropped to the ground. Thump! With one swipe of her staff, the goblin had knocked all 3 knights off their feet. Gobzella jumped back and hovered over the men, raising both her fists. You see these? She asked. This is wrath, and this one vengeance. Run your mouth again. I'll be happy to make an introduction. Honestly, I don't blame her because they're being very rude. The knights remained on the ground until Gobzella backed away. Lucy and Bristol turned with a big grin. I like her, Lucy whispered, and Bristol groaned. Oh man, this is going to be a long trip, she whispered back. Across the way, Dr. Steam, Dr. Storm, and Dr. Stagg boarded the carriage with all the weapons. Dr. States hobbled toward the delegates, and with one tap of his cane, their coach door opened on its own. I'm afraid the coach isn't big enough to seat all of you, the alchemist said. Some of you will have to ride on the Magbirds. Please, allow us, Sir Rain said. The knights were happy to separate themselves from the talking creatures and climbed aboard the mechanical birds. The delegates squeezed inside the coach, but they were still missing the dead soldier from the Righteous Empire. Bristol gazed across the landing strip and saw that Seven was whispering something into the skeleton's ear. When he was finished, the Righteous Emperor pushed the dead soldier toward the carriage. The skeleton climbed inside and had a seat with the others. The smell of the soldier's rotting corpse instantly made the delegates gag. We're reading Tale of Sorcery. Tale of Sorcery. It's from... It won't let me pin the individual book, but I can pin the series. Hold on. I don't know why TikTok doesn't have just this one book, but they have the box set for some reason. So there it is. It's this. This is what we're reading. We definitely need to roll down a window with something, Lucy said. And Bristol waved her wand, and the masked... Yeah, ear. That's very funny, Becca. To mask the skeleton's smell with a flowery scent. Once everyone was aboard, the carriage door closed behind them. Bristol used her foot to block it from shutting and looked to Dr. States. Are you going to tell us how to get to the Temple of Knowledge? The Magbirds have been instructed to fly you northeast, the alchemist said. Bristol waited for more instructions, but that was all Dr. States said. Okay, that's it? We just fly northeast and we'll find the temple? No, Dr. States said. Fly northeast and the temple will find you. The simple instructions made Bristol a little uneasy. She lifted her foot and allowed the carriage door to shut behind her. Dr. States hobbled back across the landing strip and joined Dr. Steam and Dr. Storm and Dr. Stagg in the other carriage. 2 chimes announced the vehicle's departure, and both sets of the mechanical birds lunged forward. The carriage soared into the sky, one taking the delegates to the northeast and the other taking the alchemists to the northwest. The representatives and the remaining alchemists waved to the vehicles as they disappeared into the opposite horizons. Once they were out of sight, the remaining alchemists headed back into the institute, and the guests headed to their carriages to go home. As the fairies and the witches climbed inside, they noticed that the Righteous Emperor and King Elvin were lingering behind. The men were in the middle of a private conversation, and judging by how close they were standing to one another, it was clearly a conversation they didn't want anyone else to hear. Bristol was right, Emeralda said. Seven is absolutely up to something. Oh gosh, Tangerina moaned. Can he take a break from being evil? Seven and King Elvin's discussion ended in a handshake. The men covertly went their separate ways as if the conversation had never happened. It looks like King Elvin is in on it too, Stitches said. But what could the Elf King want with the Righteous Empire? Sprout asked. Emeralda studied the men with a suspicious gaze, asking herself the same question. I don't know, but we should keep an eye on both of them until Bristol gets back. Tick, 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 tick. Bristol didn't know if her anxiety was playing tricks on her, or if it was just the close quarters of the carriage, but she could have sworn that her pocket watch was ticking much louder than usual. Tick, 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 tick. She tried her best to ignore the daunting sound, but something about it felt more persistent, as if the watch wanted to be heard. The noise was practically an invitation for her disturbing thoughts to resurface. With every tick, she could feel the curse growing stronger inside of her mind. Tick, tick. Well, well, well. Tick, tick. Isn't this an unexpected turn of events? Tick, tick.
You found the location of the Book of Sorcery, but you might lose a friend before you find it. Life is always a game of give and take. But do you know what it takes? Tick, tick. Can you survive the Temple of Knowledge? Tick, tick. Can you save Xanthos? Tick, tick. Doubtful. Can you stop the righteous emperor before death collects you? Oh, impossible. Tick, 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 tick. Yes, I will, Bristol told her thoughts. After Xanthos has been saved, after we discover the true source of the fire, after we finally put an end to Seven and his army of the dead, you'll have nothing to taunt me with, and I'll spend my last moments in peace. Tick, 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 tick. I hope you're right. But you don't have time to be wrong. Just 11 more days. That's all you have left. Oh, good luck. You're gonna need it. Tick, 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 tick. Finally, the disturbing thoughts faded away and left Bristol alone. And as she sighed with relief at the silence in her mind, Lucy sighed with restlessness due to the silence in the carriage. The delegates had been traveling for hours and hadn't said a single word to one another. So, Lucy said to break the silence, anybody interested in playing a game? I love games, Gobzella declared. The goblin's loud voice made the other delegates cringe. Do you always talk like that? Prince Elrond asked. Like what? Gobzella asked. Like you're screaming down a long tunnel, the elf said. Gobzella shrugged. I'm Goblin. We always scream down long tunnels. Now what game you want to play? I warn you, I'm very competitive and no tolerate cheating. The last person who cheated me lost his toenails. Well, all right. In that case, let's not play a game, Lucy said. Why don't we just chat and get to know one another? I'll go first. My name is Lucy Gousset. I'm 15 years old. Y'all know me as a member of the Fairy Council, but before that I was a tambourine player, the best in the world with the famous Gousset troupe. Never heard of them, Butternut grumbled. With those ears, I imagine you've heard just about everything, Prince Elrond said. Look who talking, pointy-eared tree nymph, Butternut said. And Prince Elrond gasped. How dare you, he exclaimed. I'd say that was below the belt, but that's probably as far as you can reach. Lucy quickly changed the subject before a physical fight broke out. So, Gobzella, she said with a nervous laugh, you certainly taught those knights a lesson back at the Institute. Besides being my hero, what do you like to do for fun? I like to fight and win, Goblin said, and not necessarily in that order. Lucy nodded politely. Solid hobbies. You must also enjoy exercising to have so much a muscular body. Is everyone in your family as big and strong as you? I don't have family. I ate all my siblings in the womb. Lucy gulped. Okay, what about your parents? No parents. I was still hungry when I came out. The passengers scooted as far away from the goblin as they could. Okay. All right, Butternut, tell us about yourself, Lucy asked. Do you have any special pastimes? Actually, I write poetry, the troll said. Oh, really? Lucy asked. Anything you'd like to share with us? And Butternut eagerly sat up in his seat, removed a folded piece of parchment from his moleskin vest, and then the troll cleared his throat, which sounded like a choking hyena, and he read a few poems aloud. Troll like bridges, troll loves caves, troll like ditches, troll loves slaves. Puppies are cute, kittens are precious, bunnies are mute, but they all taste delicious. Your teeth are rotten and sharp as a knife. Your beard's like cotton, but you're still my wife. You know what? It's his hobby, and we're not here to judge other people's hobbies. Whatever brings you bliss is just wonderful, Butternut, and I am here to support him. We don't yuck other people's yums, you guys. It could be. It could be. The delegates sat in an awkward silence, greatly disturbed by the troll's poetry. Gobzella, on the other hand, wiped tears from her eyes. Those are beautiful, Butternut, the goblin said. Bravo. Yeah, deep stuff, Lucy said. I'm gonna be thinking about that one for a while. Yeah, especially in my nightmares. manners, Prince Elrond said, and Butternut took the elf's comment as a compliment. Thank you, he said bashfully and tucked his palms back into his vest. What about you, Your Highness? Lucy asked the elf. What are your interests? Privacy, the elf said with a cold glare. Copy that, Lucy said. But last but not least, we got Spanky. Is there a fun fact you'd like to share? How'd you get a name like Spanky, anyway? Oh, I was a horrible child, the dwarf said. And what do you like to do when you're not digging in the mines? Spanky eyed his fellow passengers with a suspicious gaze, wondering if they were worthy of his trust. I'm not sure I should mention it. Most people can't handle it. The comment made everyone sit on the edge of their seats. All right, now you gotta tell us, Lucy said, and Spanky looked cautiously to his left and then to his right, and he leaned closer to the others as if the clouds outside were listening. I search for the mole people, the dwarf said. For what? Butternut asked. Mole people, Spanky repeated. They're a secret society that lives underground. They feed on the tree roots and recruit lost children into their colonies. The mole people only come to the surface to sabotage us and spread chaos. They're behind all the worst events in history, attacks, assassinations, rigged elections, you name it. The mole people want to take over the world and they'll stop at nothing to get the sun dwellers, that's what they call us, and have destroyed themselves. The delegates stared blankly at Spanky, assuming that the dwarf was only kidding, but unfortunately, no, he wasn't. Spanky believed every word of this outlandish conspiracy theory. Spanky, I live underground. I never seen mole people, Gobzella said. Trust me, they've definitely heard you, Prince Elrond quipped. You can't find what you aren't looking for, Spanky said. And you seen mole person before? Butternut asked. No, well, not personally, Spanky said, but I've heard enough stories to be certain. Even as we speak, the mole people are somewhere below us, plotting their next move. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they were the ones starting the fires like your friends are being framed for. Lucy leaned closer to Bristol and whispered in her ear. We're doomed, she said. These people aren't top shelf, if you're catching my drift. No wonder, they're just a little eccentric, that's all, Bristol said. No wonder the representatives chose themselves as delegates. They couldn't wait. No wonder the representatives chose these guys as delegates. They couldn't wait to get rid of them, Lucy said. And Bristol didn't respond, but the colorful delegates were starting to give her doubts about the mission, too. Tick, 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 tick. The carriage continued flying through the sky with no destination in sight. With every passing hour, the sun sank a little more into the horizon ahead, but it never disappeared. They had traveled so far northeast that Bristol wondered if they would eventually reach the southwest. The longer the carriage flew, the more Bristol became paranoid, wondering if there was no Temple of Knowledge after all. Perhaps Dr. Stade sent them on a wild goose chase. Perhaps he made it all up so that he'd have more time to find and eliminate Xanthos. And just when Bristol started to think that she should turn around, Sir Timbers tapped on the window from outside. Fairy Godmother, the knight called. There's something you should see. Bristol, Lucy, and the other delegates faced the front window. In the distance, floating on the ocean's surface, was an enormous white dome. It was the height and width of a mountain range, but was so perfectly round that Bristol knew it wasn't a natural formation. What is that? Lucy asked. It looks like some sort of shield, Bristol said. Whatever it is, magbirds are taking us straight toward it, Butternut noted. Are we going to crash? Gobzella asked. Bristol took a better look at the structure and discovered it was made entirely of clouds. No, I don't think so. It doesn't look solid, she said, and the notion made her smile. Wait a second. That's not a shield. That's a cover. The dome must be hiding something. The Temple of Knowledge. The carriage proceeded toward the dome and flew through the thick, cloudy surface, and strangely, even though the dome wasn't solid, Bristol and Lucy felt like they were passing through something, or rather, something was passing through them. A rather cold chill traveled down their bodies, causing a shiver to buckle at the knees. Did you guys feel that? Lucy asked the others. Feel what? Spanky asked. I don't know. I just feel like weak all of a sudden. Yeah, me too, Bristol said. Must be altitude sickness, Butternut said. And once the mechanical birds and the carriages were past the cloudy dome, they entered an environment that was completely hidden from the rest of the world. The air was smoky and it carried the scent of sulfur. The ocean waves were much choppier and stronger, and wind rattled the carriage. The dome protected a chain of islands, and each of the islands hosted an active volcano that spewed a long trail of smoke into the sky. Well, what is this place? Lucy asked. All the delegates went silent, and they stared at the mysterious islands, asking themselves the same questions. The carriage started to descend through the sky, and the magbirds prepared for a landing. Tick, 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 tick. Thank goodness we're here, Butternut said. That awful ticky noise been driving me nuts. Bristol did a double take. Wait, you can hear it too? Of course I hear it, Butternut said. Oh, I apologize. It's coming from my watch. And Bristol reached into her pocket and showed the troll her silver pocket watch. Tick, tick, Butternut shook his head. No, that's not it. What I hear is louder and tickier, much faster. All the delegates went quiet, and they noticed the sound themselves. Bristol realized that the persistent ticking wasn't coming from her pocket watch after all. It was coming from something else inside the carriage. Tick, 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 tick. That's bizarre, Bristol said. I don't see anything that could be causing it. Butternut raised one of his ears and followed the sound like a dog following a scent. He moved through the carriage, crawling over the other passengers, and stopped near the chest of the dead soldier. It coming from inside him, the troll declared. The dead soldier hadn't moved since the delegates left the Institute. In fact, many of them had forgotten he was even there. Upon Butternut's accusation, the skeleton suddenly jumped up and retrieved his sword. He swung a weapon at the delegates as they ducked and dived out of the way. Bonk! Gobzella knocked the sword out of the soldier's bony hand, and she wrapped one arm around his neck and held his hands behind his back with the other. Sound like dead guy has a skeleton in his closet, Gobzella said. And while the soldier was restrained, Spanky used his pickaxe to pry the armor off the skeleton's torso. Inside, the soldier's hollow rib cage was a strange contraption with several bags of gunpowder and a ticking clock. Tick, 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 tick. Ah, that's a bomb, Lucy shouted, and everyone screamed and immediately backed away. Why skeleton carrying a bomb? Gobzella asked. It's the mole people, Spanky exclaimed. They're trying to sabotage this mission. Bristol grunted, and she knew exactly why the soldier was armed. No, it's 7, she said. That's why he recommended I travel with delegates. He's trying to blow me up before we even get to the Temple of Knowledge. Well, don't just stand there. Someone stop it, Prince Elron yelled, and Bristol retrieved her wand and waved it at the bomb, but nothing happened. She waved it a second time more intensely. Still nothing. Even after a third and fourth attempt, the bomb remained exactly the same. Bristol, what is happening? Lucy asked. My magic isn't working. Bristol waved her wand a 5th time, and then a 6th, but nothing. Literally, it shows me a preview of what is being said. The same person's name is said every single time, but I have blocked every number. His name is Brian Walter, and it says it every time. It's like, I'm Brian Walter, I'm an account specialist for a loan. I block every number he calls from. How many numbers does Brian Walter have? Stop calling me. Stop it. It drives me nuts, and he calls during book club every day. Like, what is happening? Leave me alone. I don't want your loan, Brian Walter. Driving me freaking nuts. Someone needs to just end them. Butternut sighed with relief. Oh, good. Well done. It's done. It wasn't me, Bristol said. I was trying to turn it to a bouquet of flowers. Ring, 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 ring. The ticking was replaced by the sound of an alarm. The dead soldier gazed up at the other passengers and gave them an eerie wave goodbye. Crap, he's about to blow, Lucy yelled. What do we do? Prince Elron asked. Abandon ship! Godzilla shouted. The goblin forcefully kicked open the door, and the coach instantly filled with smoky wind from outside. Godzilla grabbed Spanky and Butternut by the collars and threw them out, and then pushed Prince Elron out after them. Bristol banged on the front window to warn the knights. Get off the carriage, she yelled. What? Sir Rain yelled back. There's a bomb on board! You have to jump! We can't hear what you're saying, Sir Hammer said. The wind is too loud. Ring, ring, ring. The bomb's alarm intensified. We gotta go, Gobzella shouted. Before Bristol knew what was happening, the goblin wrapped her arms around her and Lucy and jumped outside. Bristol, Lucy, and Gobzella fell hundreds of feet through the air toward the choppy ocean below, and bang! The bomb went off and the carriage exploded above them. The force from the blast hit them like a brick wall, causing them to fall even faster. Splash! Bristol plummeted into the ocean. The impact knocked the wind out of her lungs. The waves crashed over her, pushing deeper and deeper below the surface. Her body thrashed and spun throughout the powerful current. Her wand slipped from her tight grip and disappeared into the ocean's depths. Debris from the explosion plunked into the water and sank all around her. Bristol tried to swim to the surface, but was too weak. Her arms and legs moved slower and slower, gradually becoming still. She searched for Lucy and Gobzella, but she couldn't find them. All she could see was the dark ocean stretching around her for miles. Page 212. We're definitely almost halfway through. We'll probably finish this next week, if I had to guess. Yeah. Well, that was certainly a wild ride, and the baby's still asleep. What is happening, you guys?
we made great time today. So I am gonna go get ready for writing club. I'm definitely struggling. Like I was on a roll for a while. Well, no, I can't nap. Writing club is coming up. It starts in like 20 minutes. But I'm struggling a bit with it. So I think today I'm gonna focus on like re-outlining and see if that helps, because I've come up against like a block. That's not great. So we'll see if that works. But I will see you all on Monday. And I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday.